Alright, yeah, welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we got a spicy little standard list for you, based around this individual right here, actually. We're going to be playing a 4-color RuneStorm list. Now, this is a deck that I've already played today, so I have a good idea of how it performs, and my assessment of it is I got very unlucky, but also it's probably janky, and yeah, a bit of a wild one anyway. So, this deck is a combo deck of sorts and a aura mid-range list of another sort, I guess. So, it's built around a combo of Runeforged Champion and Transcendent Envoy. So, Transcendent Envoy is a 2-mana 1/2 enchantment creature that says aura spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. So, an aura list that gets cost reduction seems good. We've got lots and lots of runes in here. Rune of Might, Rune of Speed, Rune of Flight, Rune of Sustenance. All of them cost 1 and a color of mana to essentially get a redraw and a keyword. And yeah, that's essentially it. And you can put them wherever you want, actually. You can even stick them on lands if you absolutely have to. So those are going to be our runes, and they go very well with Runeforged Champion. He's a 3-mana 2/3, which when he enters the battlefield, you get to search your library and or graveyard for a rune card. So any one of these, and then you get to put it in your hand. If you do, shuffle your library. And it's not only that, he's not only just a tutor, he's also a alternative casting cost. It says you may pay 1 generic mana rather than pay the mana cost for rune spells you cast, which basically means these are 1 generic mana each as long as Runeforged Champion's out. However, if you have a Transcendent Envoy out, which gives you that cost reduction, these suddenly become completely free redraws. That means you can play 1, draw a card, play 1, draw a card, play 1, draw a card, and you can keep going, keep going, keep going. Why you would do that is for a number of reasons. We have Citizen Champion in this deck. This entire mana curve right now is just going to be a jumbled mess. We have Citizen Champion, 3-mana 1/3 with Constellation, says whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield, you put a counter on him, and then you get to draw a card. So this means that these are now draw 2s, put a counter on Citizen Champion. We also have All the Glitters as well, which gives us +1/+1 for each artifact and each enchantment we control, which means these are now +2 or +2/+0 or nothing at all. Some of these are a bit weird. Rune of Might, Rune of Speed are the only ones that actually put any kind of power and toughness on. Rune of Flight and Rune of Sustenance are basically just keywords. They're extra things, but, you know, things like Rune of Sustenance giving lifelink is super important, as well as keeping our rune count up as well, because ideally what we want to be doing, especially if we've got a champion out and these two in the same time, we want to be drawing 2 and trying to hit a rune every single time so we can repeat the process and go forever. We also have 1 copy of Siona as a 1-of fun of. It's actually in the pile of 1-of fun ofs alongside Storm Herald here. 3-mana 2/2, enters the battlefield, you look at the top 7 cards of your library and put an aura from among it into your hand. So ideally what we're probably looking for is All the Glitters, which is 1 white with a Transcendent Envoy out, because, you know, it's going to be our best way of dealing lots of damage. And she also says whenever an aura you control becomes attached to a creature, you get to create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. So we can go a little bit wide there as well. Maybe just use them to create blockers, who knows. Finally, we have Storm Herald. Storm Herald is a card you might be familiar with. We've played this as a combo deck as well in the past. I might actually consider revisiting this one, because I do love the Storm Herald lists, and obviously with a couple of runes like Rune of Speed and things like that, it might be time for a revisit on that one. When he enters the battlefield, he's a 3-mana 3/2 with haste, and you get to return from your graveyard any number of aura cards and then attach them to creatures you control, which means if we have loads of these runes attached to one of our creatures and that creature dies, all of these are going to go in our yard, and that means that Storm Herald could be a 3-mana draw 5 haste +20/+20 All the Glitters or something like that. So it's a great way, especially if our opponent is milling us as well, it's a great way to just win out of nowhere with a single creature. So that's why we're running it as a 1-of, just to see what it does. It can get stranded in your hand. I don't think you'd ever want more than 2 in the deck. But yeah, as a 1-of fun of, I do appreciate them. You guys know me well enough to know that I like to put random pieces of jank into any deck that's already janky just to make it ever so slightly worse, but also more fun. But yeah, that's essentially the list. We do have Gilded Goose so that we can get up to our turn 3 Cetessan champions if we really want to, and our Runeforge champions nice and cheap. Anything like that's kind of useful. And an Alseed of Life's Bounty as well. Another enchantment creature, so it'll trigger the Cetessan champion, but it's also a protection spell to keep our creatures and our combo around live and ready to go. Maybe even giving protection from our opponent's color of choice so that we can make an unblockable Cetessan champion, something like that. But anyway, that's essentially going to do it for the deck tech portion. If you do enjoy the content, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. And yeah, let's move on over, shall we? This video is brought to you by the generous support of our wonderful patrons and channel members that you see here. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to cool content like sneak peeks, bonus videos, polls on future content, or access to a personal deck critique from myself every month, then hit the join button down below, or check out the Patreon link in the description. With all that said, let's get into the gameplay. Alrighty then, we're in. Opponent goes first. We have turn 2 Envoy, potentially into a turn 3 Runeforge champion, which is a free double draw. And then, as a worst case, we do have Cetessan champion, probably. I guess the worst case is that we don't draw a land at all. But let's not think about that, because we will make it a reality. I find that naming the things that kill you is a great way to allow your opponent to draw them, because the game is always listening. Big Magic Brother is always on the prowl. So Jasperus Sentinel into a Lovestruck Beast. What a wild little deck. Another Sentinel. It's a strange one, alright. We've got a Storm Herald. Alright, so we're going to get this on green. We're going to get down one of our 4 Transcendent Envoys. You only need 1, so obviously, naturally, we've drawn all 4. But maybe our opponent will make us need 4. Who knows? They are redraws for the Cetessan champion, but they don't discount each other, which is really annoying. Edgewall Innkeeper. That gives them the ability to Lovestruck Beast off of the Sentinels here. Really dirtly on their end for sure, which is actually something we want to see when we've got such a terrible hand. Such a terrible hand. Okay. Well, let's give you a bit of lifelink. See if we can maybe find a land drop here. Begging you, deck. I'm begging you. Oh, thank God. Alright. So, red sauce. We'll play a Gilded Goose. And if we draw another land and our Gilded Goose doesn't die, we can champion into an Envoy, which will draw us a card and pump the champion. It's not too late to start growing a creature like that. Maybe it is if that red represents 3 damage burn spells, but we'll see. I guess there's always a chance it's too late. He's hoping it isn't, though. So, get him for 5, yeah, that seems normal. I think if they had Embercleave, they'd be swinging with everything here. Everything but 2 creatures, so they could double red off the Sentinel. Bouncing the Lovestruck Beasts. Interesting. Again, this is very dirtly from them. More dirtly the better, please. It's in a fight spell, is it? Surely not. Well, it's a stomp. That could be awkward, to be honest, because if we didn't draw a land and we drew a rune instead, we wouldn't be able to cast it, but we did get a pathway. I'm going to put one on blue for the Rune of Flights. Make sure to tap it here, though, because it's kind of useless. And then let's get an Envoy in and grow our champion a bit. Alright. So we have a little bit of stomp protection. We want to be very aware of that, so we're not going to be blocking with Cetessan champion on anything but a 1/1 here. They might just get yeeted. Only one rune in the yard, so Storm Herald is a draw one. Diddle, diddle, diddle. Is this like a Showdown of the Scalds kind of deck? I think I've seen something quite like this, but... Love it. Remember when I said we'd drawn all four and we didn't need them? Well, this is one of those situations, I guess, where that's not the case. Because now if we drew Runeforge Champion, we could play the Champion plus the Envoy. And then every single rune is a draw too. Until then, Envoy's in. And let's play Plains. Go again. Can't quite remember how it tapped, but I'm wondering whether or not a Gilded Goose could have been played here. I think it probably could have, right? Yeah, I mean, we're only paying generic on the green, so should have tapped this first. It's kind of why I did it with a champion originally. Because it was just kind of... This one's only good with the Rune of Flight, but I wanted to make sure that we could cast it. Without Gilded Goose's assistance, at least. You got third Stomp. Telegraphing that you might. As long as my champion sticks around, I think we've got a good chance here. Second spells give you tokens, okay. Draw off the Bone Crusher Giant. Just because their lands are down does not mean that they don't have Stomp here. They do have 3 Jaspera Sentinels ready to tap away. I only need 1 Envoy, and I don't particularly need this Goose either. Although it's essentially free. Since this one would come down, create food, and then this one could utilize it. Yeah, normally this draw would have been so bad that I would have probably lost to any kind of tier list, I would say. But as I said, our opponent's dirtling enough here to give us a chance. They haven't been nearly as aggressive as they probably should have been. I think they're planning on just using 3 Sentinels for a Bone Crusher Giant here. Figuring out how they want to tap it. If they do that, we know they're completely tapped out, and then I can block a Lovestruck Beast with my 4/6. Gem Razor mutates and kills an Envoy. Okay. Gem Razor seems very popular today. Which is, you know, typical. If he's going to be popular for rest of time, then, oof. Then it's going to be a little bit difficult to see this deck doing anything useful. I think I'm going to play Setessan Champion here. I'm honestly considering just going for a Storm Herald for 1 Rune of Sustenance. It's really weak, but it is a draw 2, and we're kind of getting outvalued here, honestly. So I'm gonna need a handful of cards. It doesn't really matter where we put it, honestly. It's gonna get dropped off at the end anyway. It's actually a draw 3, sorry. So there's Runeforge Champion, that's nice. No more runes, though. That is at least a 3-mana draw 3, which could potentially draw us more runes to draw 3 more for free. I'd say that's not too bad. And final card is an Edgewall Innkeeper. Bone Crusher, though, does draw them 2. So they can keep going here. Opponent's draws have been smooth, but dirtly. Last card. It's a Jaspera Sentinel. Last one's not castable, interestingly. I'm not sure what that could mean. Because they have 4 mana. Maybe it's something like an ECD. Okay, I will take 4. I'm going to take Runeforge Champion and go for the Rune of Sustenance, so... let's go... Let's hold our pathways for now. I'm not going to need the blue here because I have essentially 3 runes. Library, please, the white rune. So for free, we're going to stick that on the Cetessan Champion. The rest of our mana's now essentially set up for all that glitters when we find it. Rune of Flight. And now we're popping off. A little bit slow. As you well know, slow and steady does win the race. And I believe we've won. Oh yeah. This pathway on white. All the glitters. 18. Give it trample. Keep it growing. Another all the glitters, but we can't cast that one, unfortunately. So we're going to keep going. We've got to play through 2, 4, 6, 8 worth of reach. So I'm gonna get my money's worth and see how far we can go through our deck. That honestly feels like a thing I want to do. Should be able to go through our whole deck in theory. Makes me wonder what that last card is as well, though. Shouldn't be any bounce shenanigans. 13, and oh, we got another one. I suppose this is a good example to show you how much damage potential this deck does actually have. We'll do this as the last one. This is cutting it already a little bit too BM. All right. So now we'll get in with our 44/44 lifelink and trampling flyer with haste. And our opponent can block, we trample right through. Minus 23. Yeah. So, I mean, really, we only had to pump through all of this as well, which we'd done ages ago. But yeah, victory achieved. Okay, we're in, and we have the combo, and we have a payoff as well, and the mana to cast it also. I can't imagine it gets much better than this. Hopefully we don't die. Edgewall Innkeeper. Alright, we're just gonna go plains and pass. And see what we're up against. Maybe Gruul? Yeah, it's going to be the Gruul aggro list, which means lots of stomping for Transcendent Envoy, unfortunately. I think we still want to go with the Transcendent Envoy. I'm not going to need this on blue, I don't imagine, so let's just play that out. See where we go from there. It's a bit of a weird one, because I kind of wanted to go Cetessan Champion first. So that when Champion comes down, we can immediately start drawing the extra cards. Especially if they don't want to kill my Envoy, I can make that a thing that they don't really want to do. We are taking 6, though. And we'll be taking another 6 next turn, almost guaranteed. So, I'm gonna... Yeah, I think I'm gonna put this on red, and we're gonna play Cetessan Champion. Assuming they played a land, it was a mountain. That allows them to play Embercleave, so that is 3 plus 1, so that's 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's Xaxes forcing me to block, but I can block the Innkeeper with Cetessan Champion on that line, so I think I can make that attack there. I'm also making that attack so they have less incentive to stomp it specifically, because it will allow me to do quite a strong combo here. Yeah, so they did have that mountain. Like, this is weird because if I don't block the Innkeeper, I lose. If I do block it, they kill the champion, maybe? Or they even stomp him. So I've got to really get lucky here, I think. And yeah, I just couldn't take the chance that they had Embercleave. Alright, so on white, so Tessan Champion, and then an Alseed. And Envoy can't block them anyway, so let's get in. Hope for the best. Actually, we're just dead if they have a land, right? Otherwise, we might actually win. Go to 4. Double Stomp gets me, but we've already seen 1. Oh, come on! Every time. Well, that's really, really annoying. Let's go Runeforge Champion. Search my library. And, I mean, we're dead to them being able to attack if I can't block, but pretty much just dead to them doing their shenanigans anyway. I'm going to go on the Envoy, because then maybe I can get some value in. I'm looking for all the glitters. That's maybe my out here. Didn't get it. I'm just really struggling with the RNG today. It's not my friend. I'm probably just going to block Tessan Champion with Gilded Goose. And again, I'm just still dead to our opponent drawing a land anyway, because I can't block these, because I only have 2 powered less creatures. And, well, they had the best land in their entire deck, so yeah. Alright, RNGesus, not my friend. Screw you, RNGesus. I hate you. I want to never meet you ever again. Next game. Alright, I go first. Not exactly the strongest hand in the world, but it is a turn 2 Runeforge Champion, so we're going to give this one a shot. And I think, yeah, our mana base looks pretty reasonable. I think we actually play them on the side, on their front sides. We should be okay with that. Plains for the Runeforge Champion. This pathway for the Gilded Goose. See where we go from there. We need like a Tessan Champion or a Transcendent Envoy, something like that. Something that goes very well with this card. Why is my Gilded Goose howling? You okay, bud? I mean, this isn't a wolf, so they don't howl. Shadow Spear. I kind of wonder whether or not I should even do Runeforge Champion on 2. I mean, I can do a lot of redraws, but I need kind of that engine piece anyway. This way I don't have to use the food tokens as well, so yeah, this just kind of feels like the better way to do it. Alright. Okay, Mono Red with your Shadow Spear. Don't see that very often, but I'd love to see a Frostbite on a Gilded Goose here. It's not what we saw, but this also kind of, it works. It works. So let's get you on red. I just don't really want to play the champion for nothing. I guess I could grab a green Rune of Might here. Rune of Might gives +1/+1 and puts me out of range of Stomps and Frostbites and all those kind of removal spells that we don't like. And we still get that redraw. And now we have a 3/4 that's about to be lifelinking as well. Slowest mono red player I've ever experienced in my entire life. I'll say that much. Maybe Bone Crusher Giant here, and then plan on getting a Greedy Shadow Spear in, maybe? Or a 2-for-1 to get rid of the Runeforge champion. It's an Anax. Okay. Alright, so I think it's time that we try to draw a couple of cards here to get some value going. It's an Alseed. That could give me protection from red if they do try to Runeforge kill. Yeah, I was thinking maybe we save that for, like, if we find a Setessan champion, but I think this works. So it costs 2 to equip, leaves them with 1, probably 2 mana. I'm not planning on blocking. Yeah, I think we're just getting for 3 lifelink here. They're going to need to work to make that Anax more powerful than it is. And I just want to keep 1 rune in hand, really, to start an engine if we do draw a champion. I'd hate to draw it and just, like, have it do nothing. Because it will definitely carry the game if we have some fuel for it. So we hit for 3, they hit for 3. As long as our life total is around 20, I'd say Monored's not doing too good. Gonna go with a Robber of the Rich. Okay. 3 for 3 on our cards, so Robber doesn't do anything here. I'm just gonna make a food token. And yeah, not blocking. Well, now we got some spares. Rune of Speed, please. There we go. Alright. Setessan champion down. We'll stick it on blue, because it costs 1 colorless anyway. And then we'll pump you up nice and large. Get another one as well, which is fantastic. We're going to use the Gilded Goose there to pay for that. And this game's over. Triple all the glitters. Don't mind if I do. Okay. So, I mean, I guess if they could kill a 4-6, I'm not planning on blocking, because they can't 21 me with an Anax Ember Cleaved, so... I'll chump with an Alseed on a Robber of the Rich or something like that, and then after that it's just like all the glitters, all the glitters, all the glitters off Gilded Goose. You're dead. So, yeah. We'll take that. Torbran. So that's 9, 10, 11, 12... 13. Yes, that's fine. I'll take 9. You're getting a lot of life here. Up to 23, but I'm pretty sure they're just dead anyway. So, yeah. As long as we're using only 1 white every time, then this game is over. Bit of that. If we draw a land as well, then we get to go flying over the top. I'd say your days of mono-redding are over, opponent. Seems good. GG. Oh no. What's taking so long, opponent? You just click this button here and then you die. Or you can block and die, but I'd suggest just clicking this button and dying. That would be probably... Oh, they're going to go for the block die. Okay. Power to you. -9. Seems good. Up to 50. Love to see it. Alright, slow start for sure. But we made it in the end, and we even ranked up as well. Would you look at that? Fantastic. Right, on to the next game. Okay, we're in, and we do have the combo, and the mana seems to line up as well. So we can go turn 1 Gilded Goose, turn 2 Envoy, and then off the Goose with our 2 lands we can go Champion. From there, I think it's all going to be based on what we top deck essentially, so wish me luck. I haven't had much today. I feel like all of my wins have been painfully created. I don't think it's correct to not do Runeforge Champion, though. Next turn, no matter what happens. Like, we can't really, like, expertly combo off or anything like that, but, you know. I think even a little combo to redraw should be just about right. Gotta be aware of cards like Blizzard Brawl as well, though. Oh, Cetessan Champion. Oh, this is such a weird one because I do want to redraw using Cetessan Champion quite a fair bit. But I use my Gilded Goose to do that while doing nothing this turn. I can potentially not champion the turn after. I guess I could all-seed. Yeah, let's go Cetessan Champion. Worst case, we can Envoy or all-seed. I think that's okay. Little concerned about cards like Blizzard Brawl fighting my Envoy, but it's nice that we have a spare one at least. And yeah, if we get a land, we go Champion, and then we try to go off as best we can. I don't think our opponent can really deal with a very large Cetessan Champion. Alright, so we got our red source. We're now in free rune territory, so let's go Runeforge Champion. And I think we're going all in on Cetessan Champion here. We could actually... I suppose there's a world where I actually give this haste, because this pumps itself as well. So then I'm working on building up 2 creatures. That could be good. Not put all my eggs in one basket. I honestly don't mind giving that a shot, I don't think. Let's go for it. So, Runeforge Champion. If I could also get him to be larger than Yawn as well, it means that we don't have to worry about Blizzard Brawl, essentially. No, we whiffed. Well then. Let's offer a Yawn block and trade, since we've got a spare champion anyway. Cool. We'll go with Yawn first, thank you. It's harder for Sculptor of Winter to really kill anything, whereas Yawn is basically sticking around, and in a worst case scenario, it doubles our opponent's mana for the turn. Okay. It's kind of an oof moment, I won't lie. But at least we have some rebuilding power here. Let's go Runeforge Champion. Again, I think I'm going for the haste. So let's search our library. Rune of Speed. On the champion. Put you on white. And I think we're getting a little bit of a beatdown plan going. Yeah. Bit of that. Maybe Olaglace is better on the Transcendent Envoy? I'm not entirely sure, honestly. If we're concerned about another extinction event, essentially. Ooh, they went with evens. That is honestly wild. I think our opponent might have misclicked. Huh. Alright. Well, that's the thing. That's gotta be a misclick, surely. Is there ever a world where that's correct? No. They scooped before they saw my Envoy, right? As well, so I pretty much didn't get a chance to play that one out. And I'm going to be playing for free. That's a +1/+1. So that's 6, 7. Maybe anything after that. We're closing in on lethal, but not quite. Weird game. I don't know. Either way, though, I think that's going to do it for today's video. Overall, I think this deck is... Well, it's honestly hard to evaluate, because as much as I want to call it a meme based off of my experience with it today, which is very, very janky, I also don't feel like I got the best of Lady Luck today. I do feel like I've been cheated a little bit with our opponents getting very good draws and us not so much and whiffing constantly. I don't think that's what this deck would normally do, piloted by someone luckier than myself. So I really don't know where to put it. I definitely wouldn't say it's tier 1 or even high tier 2. Maybe, I'd say mid tier 2 at best. We'll call it that. But, you know, I think I'm being generous when I call it mid tier 2 either way. But it was a lot of fun to play regardless, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. If you did, really appreciate it if you do hit that like button and subscribe as well for more content like this in the future. And without further ado, gonna end it off here. Take care, guys. Have a wonderful night.